Today we're driving the 2025 Subaru Forester Sport. This starts at just shy of $36,000 with a couple options. This is $37,756. It has a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated boxer 4-cylinder engine that makes 180 horsepower. That's mated to a continuously variable transmission. It has X-Mode all-wheel drive, and this Sport comes with dual mode X-Mode all-wheel drive, so you get some extra traction control settings for off-road driving. This 6th generation of Subaru Forester sees some updates, a few kind of cosmetic refreshes, but for the most part, it's the same Forester that we've come to know and love over the past few years and many generations. The chassis here is more rigid, they've improved NVH, and they've changed the exterior styling. So let's hop outside, we'll walk around this new Forester, we'll take it for a drive, and give you guys some driving impressions and thoughts on what it's been like to live with this week. This Forester is painted in sapphire blue pearl. We've got some bronze accents that are part of the Sport package, as well as these lower profile roof rails. Not convinced on the color of these wheels. It's kind of strange looking if I'm being honest, but overall the new Forester does look pretty good. Maybe slightly less awkward proportions than before. I like the taillights, I like the treatment that they've done here. There is no wilderness trim for the 2025 model year. That'll probably come around next year for 2026. Ground clearance here is some of the best in class at 8.7 inches. Let's see, what kind of tires are we on here? We are on Bridgestone Turanza EL 450s in 235/50 R19s. Bit of a lower profile tire and wheel package there for the Sport trim, which does have slightly stiffer suspension. Let's start from the back here and take a look at this trunk space. Nice cargo cover that slides back. A little bit of space back here, as well as a compact spare tire. Got some nicely integrated hooks back here for grocery bags. 12-volt socket. Here's your sub for the Harmon Kardon sound system, which is a $1,700 optional extra, including some other accessories too. Got 2 buttons on the tailgate, one to close and one to lock and close the vehicle. Lots of space in this Forester. One of my favorite things about this is that it just has a higher roof height. Ingress and egress in this is fantastic. You don't have to duck at all to get in and out of this. Nice, spacious, open interior. Massive sunroof here. And a pretty attractively designed interior layout. We have Subaru's vertical tablet infotainment screen, which has worked pretty well for me this week. It's a little bit laggy and clunky on startup, but it's been pretty reliable for the most part, considering some of my past experiences with these Subaru infotainment systems. I think the trick is really to turn off the Wi-Fi hotspot, and I seem to get noticeably better performance out of the whole system with that disabled. So, you know, it's got wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. I still can't wait until Subaru updates and changes this, and hopefully brings back some physical controls to this center stack here, especially for climate. That said, the rest of this interior is great. It's easy to use, easy to operate. The materials feel nice. Subaru's StarTex interior materials are all washable. They feel kind of rugged. There isn't really much breathability to these seats at all. Hasn't been a problem for me this week because 1, I don't sweat, kind of a freak of nature, and 2, it's been freezing. Right now, I believe it's about 35 degrees Fahrenheit outside, even though it feels about 20. We don't get a heated steering wheel in this Sport trim, but we do get heated seats. And let's see here, just a nice spacious cabin. Look at the visibility in this car. It's amazing. We'll experience that a little bit more when we get on the road here shortly. But you have a really nice low belt line with the door frames and the dashboard. You can just see all around this Subaru Forester. You feel like you're in a fishbowl. It's fantastic. It feels almost like old school levels of visibility from, you know, a car from the 2000s or 90s. One of my favorite things about the Subaru Forester is just how easy it is to get in and out of, see out of, and just use on a daily basis. Very practical, usable vehicle. It's a nice size. Weighs around 3,700 pounds, so not too heavy. And it drives like a sedan. It's more sedan-like than it is crossover-like in its driving dynamics, which I appreciate. The powertrain isn't the most exciting. Only 180 horsepower with this 2.5-liter boxer 4-cylinder. The CVT it does a decent job. Rated for 32 miles per gallon on the highway, 25 in the city. I've averaged about 27 in it this week. It seems to get off the line a little bit better than it did previously with this revised CVT. Overall, for what it is, no major complaints about this powertrain. Hood is light too, nice. New front end, a bit more aerodynamic. The rear seats are very easy to fold down. Just pull that right there, and it looks like they fold pretty much flat. Seatbelt coming there from the roof. It could even be used to tie some things down and secure them from sliding forward. That's nice. Good amount of cargo space back here. Again, a very practical vehicle. All right, up front in the Subaru Forester. Familiar looking button controls. The only thing that you might notice that is different that we haven't seen in a Forester that we've tested before is this S-Sharp and intelligent drive mode controls. These basically just control throttle mapping. That's part of the sport package. We got wireless charging down here, electronic parking brake, water bottle, cup holders, 12-volt socket, a little bit of storage here in the center console. Nice materials. Everything's kind of rubberized and rugged and washable. The ergonomics in here works pretty well too. You've got a button down here to pop the trunk, adjust your gauge cluster brightness. Front two windows are auto up down, and then all of your eyesight paraphernalia right there. Sunroof is enormous and slides back pretty far. Look at that. That's impressive. Got nice big honking visors, little extension arm right there. Nice looking mirror with a light. Place to put your sunglasses. I mean, overall, a nice interior space. Here's what the reverse camera looks like. You can see here we can change our X mode into snow, dirt, normal, or deep snow and mud. You've got a few quick access controls here, like your vehicle settings, driving assistance. You can turn on your auto hold, go into your phone settings, your profile. There's a climate menu down here. We'll just leave it on that screen in CarPlay. All of your cruise control settings work really well. Eyesight has been improved for this 2025 model year, and I've got to say it's one of the best systems on the road now. Subaru started off in this game with their eyesight camera-based system, and it was kind of a mess, and it's gotten so much better in the last few years. Let's head out on the road and see how this new Forester drives. Good acceleration off the line there. The suspension in this Sport is supposed to be a little bit stiffer, but still it rides really well, even on these 19-inch wheels. Steering is light, pretty devoid of feel, but it weights up nicely around corners. Let's see how it feels up here on this entrance ramp. I think Subaru has improved their throttle tuning here. This doesn't feel as much like an on-off switch. I feel like the throttle pedal is a little bit more linear with its tuning. This handles surprisingly well for a crossover in this class. Good mechanical grip. I mean, you can really push this around a corner. It is surprisingly agile. Not a ton of power at highway speeds, but it's enough. Some simulated shifts there from that CVT. Let's engage adaptive cruise control here. Very easy to change following distances right there, and then engage your active steering. Just rest your hand on the wheel, and it pretty much does all the driving for you. A little bit of wind noise here on the highway. You can reduce that slightly by pulling the sunroof cover over, but for the most part, this is still kind of shaped like a brick, so you can expect some wind noise here. I will say over bumps and rougher roads, this does seem to be a little bit quieter than the outgoing Subaru Forester. And it is kind of windy today, so that could be a factor. Honestly, for what this is, power feels pretty acceptable. 180 horsepower. I feel like the gearing with the CVT makes up for that a little bit. Honestly, it feels kind of similar in power level to the Toyota Crown Signia we had last week. It's a usable amount of power. You definitely have to plan out your passes, your accelerations at higher speeds. But like I always say, there are no slow cars, just slow drivers. You can live with it. Brakes feel nice. Good confident pedal feel. Pretty good bite too. No complaints there. And it doesn't seem like this 2.5 liter boxer engine is too labored on normal acceleration around town. It's reasonably quiet. And doesn't drone away like it used to in the older Subaru CVTs. We also get paddle shifters in the sport trim. Play with your gears. Kind of a weird lurch there. Honestly, just leave it in drive, let the transmission do its thing, and it does a great job. This drives like a much smaller vehicle than it is. It really does just feel kind of like a slightly larger hatchback. I think that's one of my favorite things about this Forester is that it just feels nimble and agile on the road. All of your inputs are responsive, pretty light. That's a perfectly acceptable 0 to 60 time right there. This S Sharp mode does kind of act as a sport mode. It keeps your revs a little bit higher. Let's see how it turns in over here. Even use the paddles a little bit. This continuously variable transmission is really smooth. No hiccups, weird shudders, or lurches. It just kind of does its job in the background. Subaru has really refined the CVTs that they've been putting in their cars over the years. And I'm glad they've finally kind of gotten the throttle response right here. Overall, the tuning with this drivetrain feels really good. All right, well, hopefully that gives you guys a taste of what it's like to drive this new 2025 Subaru Forester. Honestly, it's all pretty similar to the outgoing Forester, the 5th generation, but just a little bit more refined, slightly better NVH in some respects. I think the last thing to do is we're going to pass the semi-truck, and then we're going to do a sound system test with this 11-speaker Harmon Kardon. Music here. Sound system isn't bad. Treble's a little bit bright, but overall clarity is good. It's a powerful sound system, a lot of bass. Probably an upgrade from the bass audio. Going the other direction on the highway, seems like maybe wind noise isn't too bad. There is still a little bit of road noise in this car. Really good job from eyesight there, negotiating that lane change. It started to accelerate around the slower truck as soon as I turned my turn signal on. This eyesight system, I think, would make this a really easy car to road trip. The fact that you can average over 30 miles per gallon on the highway makes it even more compelling. Chris is actually going to be road tripping this later this week to go pick up a set of Camaro winter wheels and tires for me. So go check out Chris's video, see how this does road trip, see if the seats are comfortable, what type of fuel economy he averages, all that stuff. All right, guys, well, those are going to wrap up my thoughts on the new 2025 Subaru Forester. Still kind of an awkward looking thing, but a great car to drive, super easy to live with, spacious, comfortable, decent tech here. Love the driving assistance stuff. The infotainment is kind of a letdown, and the powertrain isn't that exciting, but honestly, it's good enough for what this is. If you want more power, you can always go to the Outback and get that turbocharged boxer engine, but honestly, for most people, this is going to be perfectly sufficient. I'm excited to see what they do with the Wilderness package for 2026. All right, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this drive. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.